Welcome to Endurance Tales. Today we're going to talk about navigating the trail safely during an endurance ride. I'm with my friend Anne, and we are back in the Camp Creek Wash. She's going to help me share some of the tips that we can demonstrate out on trail. Hope you follow along. So my first tip about riding in groups at an endurance ride is to practice at home. So today we have a friend with us, and we're going to practice some of the things that we'll share. So one of the things to do is practice getting past and practice passing others so that you know your horse won't overreact if somebody canters by. The other thing we'll do while we're out today is just get used to things you might encounter on the trail, like bikes or hikers, other trail riders, motorized vehicles, cars, trucks, ATVs, crossing a road, all of these things you might encounter while you're at a ride. And so you want to be able to do these things. Oh, look at the poppies. They're out. At our last ride, we had to practice getting used to many things because we had model airplanes flying overhead. We had a charging dog. There was one point where somebody did canter past us at the start of the ride. And so the more you can get your horse used to those things in a small group, maybe, or with another horse that's safe, will be really helpful at your actual ride. Hope is getting ready for 50 miles at Land of the Sun in 2 weeks. And there's lots of deep sand and lots of elevation. So that is why we came back here. We're walking in the sand and we're going uphill. And so this is really going to help her get ready for that ride. Tip number 2 about navigating the ride safely is really to communicate what you need. If you encounter someone, find a way to tell them what you need. You can use hand signals like, "We're going to slow down." Thank you, Anne. Or if you're out on the road and you meet a vehicle that's going too fast, you can tell them to slow down by raising your hand and pushing it down, waving at them, making yourself seen. So communicating what you need. That works good with hikers and bikers too. Sometimes just saying hello and greeting everyone that you encounter, then they know you're there, and if you can get them to talk to you, then your horse will know that they're a human and not something else that's going to hurt them. So communicating what you need when you encounter others is really important. Announcing yourself if you come up behind somebody, say, "Horses behind you," or "Passing on your left," or "Is it okay to pass?" Are all...
Sarah, you did a great job of doing that on your content.
Those are all really good ways to let people know what you need and to help keep everybody safe. I don't know if you can see all the poppies on the hillside, but they are everywhere. It's beautiful out here. More poppies. There are poppies everywhere on this hillside, and it's still just January in Arizona. I have been coming down here for 6 years and I've not seen so many poppies, certainly not this early in the season. Beautiful. My last tip about encountering other users out on the trail is don't assume that they know what to do. Many people maybe have never encountered a horse and they just don't know. So if you see a hiker hiding behind the bushes, they think that they're getting out of your way, and it's okay to tell them, it's okay to come out so the horse can see you and say hello. And I always say, just be kind. People appreciate it when you're nice to them, and situations tend not to escalate if you're being friendly. I took pictures of these flowers a couple weeks ago when I was out here, and they are continuing to get larger. So pretty. Pretty flowers right down here. The other trail user you have to think about how you want to react when you encounter it is just other trail riders. Sometimes other trail riders might be great people to try to recruit to endurance, but if they think we're rude, they won't want to join us. So If you encounter trail riders, slow down, walk past them, ask if it's okay to pass, and ask them if it's okay to trot off when they're ready, making sure that their group is safe and you stay safe. One other way to communicate what you need at an endurance ride, if you're riding, particularly if you're in a group and the front rider is through, you come up to some place where everybody needs to walk and the front rider walks and others go through. If you're last, it's really nice to yell clear, and nice and loud, so that that person in front knows it's okay to start trotting again and everybody can stay safe that way. And if you're the front rider in the group and you're wondering if everyone's clear, you can just, again, tell people what you need. Ask, are we clear back there? And then the rider can tell you they're clear and they'll get the hint that you'd like that piece of communication. Another good way to tell people what you need is to use some universal marking symbols. For example, if your horse is a kicker, tie a red ribbon in its trail. If you encounter a horse with a red ribbon, give it plenty of space. If your horse is a stallion, or if you see a horse with a yellow ribbon, that means that is a stallion. And again, give it plenty of space, especially if you're riding a mare. And in endurance, you can try, if you're new, you could tie a green ribbon in, and that signifies that you're a green bean. And people will know that maybe this is your first ride and see if you need any help or have any questions. Also, if you have a horse that just doesn't like people running up behind it, maybe it's not a kicker. Doesn't mean you can't tie a red ribbon in its tail, and that will help you communicate what you need. I thought I would share a little bit about navigating the ride start safely. That is one thing you really can't practice at home because there's just no way to replicate the energy that you're going to find at the start of an endurance ride. Some things you could do, if you've never been to an endurance ride and you're thinking about your first event, go volunteer, bring your horse, let it camp for the weekend. See if you can park close to the ride start and just let your horse get used to some of that energy. You could also bring your horse on Friday and let it hang out in camp all day Saturday and ride it on Sunday if the ride is a 2-day ride. And oftentimes there's a lot fewer entries on Sunday. So you might not have to deal with, maybe instead of 30 riders starting, maybe there's only 10. And that would be a lot easier to navigate at the start of a ride. The other thing you could do is don't go out at the beginning. Let all the riders go out, just wait at your trailer and leave 5 minutes late, and then maybe you'll have some trail to yourself. Knowing your horse and what it needs is all really important at the ride start. One thing that endurance riders will tell you that they love when they're out on a ride is finding a bubble. You would be amazed at how often you can end up in a large group of horses because you're all approximately traveling the same speed, and you just end up in this group, and things can sometimes escalate when you're in a large group of horses moving out at speed. And so finding a bubble or some space and being able to break away, whether that means slowing down, you might just let those riders go, and if there's something for your horse to eat, some grass, stop and take 2 or 3 minutes and let your horse eat and let those riders go in front of you. If you think your horse is more experienced, maybe you're going to make space. Maybe you ask to pass and you canter off for a mile and create your own bubble. But finding a bubble is really helpful, because if you keep seeing horses right in front of you, your horse just wants to be with that horse. And then the horses are all stressed out and you use a lot of energy. Your horse wastes a lot of energy fighting with you to try to catch up to that horse. And you're oftentimes just better off to stop and let those horses get out of sight and then continue on your way. One of my personal pet peeves is lots of leapfrogging, and not like practicing leapfrogging when you're riding with someone you're riding with, but leapfrogging where maybe there's somebody that's moving about the same speed and they pass you, but then they walk and then there they are again, and you just keep passing each other throughout the day. And that's when it's really nice if you have practice cantering on your horse to create some space and get out of that situation. Back at my favorite juniper tree. So pretty. A little bit of water running here. Want a drink? I don't think it's deep enough. Riding down through the wash. Lots of green grass around. Look how green that! Look at all the grass. We're climbing up the Maricopa Trail now. One other thing to think about when you're at an endurance ride is how do you pick who you're going to ride with, or if you're going to ride by yourself. If horses are anything like people, most of us prefer to be in a small group anyway, and it's just usually a lot more fun to have somebody to talk to. So it's always nice to have somebody that you can ride with, but that doesn't always work. And the motto in endurance is ride your own ride, don't ride somebody else's. So you might find yourself, you were planning to ride with someone, and maybe that day it's just not right for your horse. Then you have to let them know, like, this isn't working for me, because you are responsible for your horse in that situation. I've also been in situations where neither one of us really planned on riding together, but we literally kept leapfrogging each other. Like, her horse and my horse were traveling about the same pace, and neither really wanted to go out by itself. And so we just talked about it and said, I think at this point we might as well just finish this ride together. And then the horses traveled really well together, and they really appreciated having the company. The other thing I would recommend is if you come upon a rider, don't just assume that if you follow them, that's what they want. It's always nice to ask, hey, do you care if I tag along back here with you? And if you do that, and that person led the whole way, good etiquette is not to pass them at the end. Easy. Good girl. That's okay. See, kind of steep down here. Good girl. My last tip to getting safely through the trail is to remember that you went to the endurance ride to have fun. So take time to enjoy it. And you might be thinking, gosh, this seems like this is really hard. Well, I kind of think that's why it's called endurance. It's not supposed to be easy. And that's why it's so rewarding, because you know what? It is hard. So many things are just easy and you can just do them, but this is not one of them. So take time to learn as much as you can, but get out and enjoy your horse and have a great time. I hope you enjoyed following Ann and I on our journey today. And follow Endurance Tales, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. All right, I know I said the video was over, but this is the Cliff Notes. There's a Mickey Mouse prickly pear in the bushes. Hope you enjoyed the ride. There's a whole bunch of deer that just ran past us, like 6 of them. They're still up there. Oh yeah, there's another one over there and there. Should we ride that way, Hope? Maybe we'll get them to move. They're just looking at us. Boy, they blend in good, don't they?
Good old muley.
Yep. All right, deer, enjoy. There go the deer. They're thinking about leaving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see 5.
One, can you see the one to the right? That's behind the group.
Maybe not.
It's coming in. It's joining the group right now. Or did you already see that one?
I think I've seen that one. There's 3,
Okay.
4, 5. They're just gonna stand us down.
They're
Yep.
going.
Oh, there they go.
Watching them. Oh, there they
Oh,
go.
there they go.
Boing, boing, boing.
Good girl, Hope. Off they go.